Hart. Just want to welcome everybody. My name is Kathy Hart. I know you can't see me because you're seeing Amanda's screen, but I want to welcome all of you to our travel preview. And thanks very much for joining us. I'm going to introduce Amanda. She's with Premier World Discovery, and we've been working with Premier now, what, about 5 years, Amanda?
Yes, yes.
And they do wonderful trips. I have personally done the Grand Canyon trip, and I will, when I send you guys the link afterwards, I'll send you the links to the photos I took there because they were spectacular. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's welcome Amanda, and I'm going to let her talk, and then at the end, if you all will write any questions and send them up, we'll answer those at the end of the presentation. So again, thanks very much for joining us, and here's Amanda Speer.
All right, fantastic. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Pretty day, but a little cool here in North Carolina. Again, my name's Amanda. I am with Premier World Discovery. I kind of manage the East. The company itself is based out of California, and I'll tell you about that. But as I have been mentioning to Kathy, and we were talking about it, this is pretty much how everyone we've talked to has been feeling. They're just ready to travel. I know I am, I know Kathy is, and with the vaccine and people getting vaccinated and feeling ready to just kind of get out. So we're all excited to get going again. And so as Kathy mentioned, we've been working with the alumni program now for at least 5 years. The years go by fast, it's hard to believe, but here's just some shots of some of the past tours of having a great time. It looks like one is at the Grand Canyon, one is at the Rose Parade, all of which we are offering again. But I'm going to talk about 3 tours today, and very excited about all of them. There's 2 that are kind of out west. We have our Great Trains Grand Canyon, our Utah, and then I'm going to take you to the east with our New England Rails and Trails. And so please, I believe there is a chat. If you have questions, just go ahead and write them in there, and we can kind of go through them once we're all done here. But a little bit about Premier. I'll be brief about this, but if you aren't familiar with us, we've been in business for 21 years. Those are the 3 owners. We're based out of Redondo Beach, California. We're a little unique in the fact that we've worked directly with our alumni partners and groups and organizations across the country. We're not a retail product. And so really all that means for you is that we will not be bugging you when you come home. We work directly with the Kathys of the world. And these are just some of our, obviously, a very vetted program to be representing NC State. But here's just, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're very proud to be part of USTOA. Obviously, the travel industry has been majorly impacted from this COVID, from the pandemic. And it's important to know that the company you're working with has been financially sound, and that we are. We use great, if you haven't done a group tour, if you haven't traveled with the alumni, it is a wonderful way to travel. All of our tours, we use fantastic first-class properties based on either where you need to be or the certain personality of them, but great properties. Many meals included daily. You'll have breakfast every day. There's a handful of dinners included. We also give you time to kind of go and explore your own taste and find your own thing, a couple dinners on your own, but plenty included. And then we have great guides. We think our guides are some of the best in the industry. And they not only do a fantastic job of just making sure everything runs as it should. One of the reasons why I love group travel so much is, one, so much of the responsibility of figuring things out is their issue, not yours, right? You just need to show up in the lobby, but then also you just learn so much more. And it really makes it a wonderful way to travel. So a few housekeeping issues and incentives for joining us, and for the next few days, actually until next week here, Wednesday, we are offering some incentives for you to sign up. We are recording this. If anyone wants to see it, we'll send it out, or if you have friends or family that you know would want to join this, and if they sign up within the next few days, this will apply to them as well. But basically, normally for our domestic programs, it's $300 to hold your spot. So we are reducing that to $150 to hold your spot. And then that deposit is fully refundable up until final payment. Final payment is due 75 days before departure. We know, obviously, while we're all excited to get out and go again, some of us maybe aren't sure when we're going to feel ready, so you can go ahead and sign up. And if for some reason you cannot go by final payment, you can make that decision and get a full refund. And then we are also offering a double booking discount. It used to be $100 if you made your final payment by check, and now it is $200. So the first tour I'm going to talk about is our Great Trains and Grand Canyons tour. This is the tour that Kathy mentioned that she was on. This is actually our #1 selling tour for the company, probably in the past 15 years at least, for many reasons. One, if you haven't been to Sedona, it's truly a town you must see. It's always written up as one of the most beautiful cities in America and on the Condé Nast Traveler, and it's known as Red Rock Country. I think another highlight of this tour is that you get to stay in one hotel. So you arrive into Phoenix, we take you for a short drive up to Sedona, and then you unpack, and that's where you get to stay, which is fantastic. But an ideal place, Sedona, is to kind of hub and spoke for our week. Here's just some of the properties we use. This is the Hilton Sedona Resort. Again, a great property. One thing you'll notice is just the muted colors, the browns, tans, and oranges, and so forth. In Sedona, you cannot, there's building coordinates and so forth. You can only go about 4 stories high, maybe 5, but no more than that, because they don't want to detract from the beauty of just the area. Here again is just some hotel shots, lovely desert views. All the resorts we have beautiful grounds with pools and outdoor fireplaces, and really lovely to relax in the evening. So when you arrive that evening, we're going to enjoy a welcome dinner. East Coast to West Coast, long flight. You'll be excited to just kind of unwind at the hotel, have a cocktail, and have a wonderful dinner, and then head put to bed for that. Next day, we'll begin our touring. And here, this is where we're going to do a fantastic trolley tour. This is about a 2.5-hour tour of the city, and the trolleys come and pick you right up. They do a great job of just kind of showing you the area, telling you all about the flora, the fauna, the history of Sedona, and it's a unique way to kind of see the town. This is the Chapel of the Holy Cross right here. This is Margaret Street. This actually, oops, I'm getting ahead of myself, juts out of the rock about 850 feet. And Margaret Steed wanted to build something representing her faith, and she was planning on Europe, but she came to Sedona and was so impressed with the natural beauty that this is where she decided to build it. And it really is quite something to see. Again, this McDonald's, I talked about those strict building coordinates and so forth. I believe this is the only McDonald's that doesn't have golden arches. And to be in Sedona, they had to match those colors to not detract from the beauty. But here, you're going to see a lot of the beautiful red rock, learn the history. They all have their unique names. This is Bell Rock. This is Snoopy Rock. Kind of got to look at it funny, but you can kind of, you stare at it long enough, it looks like Snoopy laying on his house there. And then here again is the Chapel of the Holy Cross from the aerial view from the top. The trolley actually will pull up there, and you'll have the opportunity to see some beautiful views, and as well as check into the chapel, the cute little chapel. There's a little gift shop and so forth, but just a wonderful area to explore. The tour then goes to Uptown Sedona. Sedona, again, this is, you know, we're in the West right now. Both the next 2 trips I'm going to be talking about have that Old West and a lot of cowboy type feel. Sedona is that as well, but a beautiful area to, you know, grab maybe a little light bite, an ice cream cone, or just enjoy the shops. Tlaquepaque is a Spanish-Mexican arts and crafts village, very beautiful, lots of sculptures and little restaurants and fountains, and just a wonderful area to explore. That afternoon is a free day for you. We do have a couple options on this tour. The Pink Jeep tour will be an option that afternoon, and this is a lot of fun, but it is bumpy, which is why we make it an option. Some of you, you might want to stay in Sedona, you might want to head back to the resort, or you can take that optional Pink Jeep tour and just do a little off-road adventure where the motor coach and regular cars can't go. It is a lot of fun. The drivers are a hoot. But it is bumpy and it is neat. But they ask you how bumpy you want to really make it. And again, here's just some shots of Tlaquepaque. The next day, then we're going to travel through the Oak Creek Canyon, and this is just a beautiful drive as we head up to the canyon. Again, seeing the forest, the waterfall, we're kind of curvy and beautiful scenery. We're making our way to Williams, and this is a 1908. This is a little piece of Arizona history. This is where we board the Grand Canyon Railway, and it really it's been serving Arizona since 1908. And it really is quite something to see, but it's our mode of transportation as we get to the top of the canyon. And it's a little unique here. They have some entertainment on board, playing the banjos, dressed, you know, in like the Wild West. And it's just kind of a fun way as we make our way to the south rim, to the top of the Grand Canyon. And again, we're going to be talking about some national parks here for the next, you know, highlighting some of them. And if you haven't been to them, or if it's been forever, our national parks truly are just so breathtaking and amazing and treasures. And, you know, I have these beautiful pictures here of the canyon, and nothing though, you know, nothing ever really represents that goosebump feeling you get when you're standing in front of something so massive, and you realize kind of just what a surreal experience it is and how little we are in this big, big world. And the Grand Canyon does not disappoint. It is 277 miles long and over almost 7,000 feet deep. It's bigger than the state of Rhode Island. So, I mean, it is just breathtaking. So here we'll have time to just explore the canyon, some time on your own. There's museums, there's different viewing points, there's little walking trails. There's, of course, gift shops, and just sit back and let Mother Nature just sink in and absorb. And we will, this will be kind of your long day. You're going to get back late that night because we're going to drive down and stop at other different viewing areas as well, but we'll stop in Flagstaff where we'll have dinner. This is Black Bart Steakhouse and Saloon. We use a few properties here, but this is kind of a fun one. This is college kids that are in the arts programs at the university. Flagstaff is a university town, and they get up and they'll do a little singing and dancing, but you have a great meal. It's been a great day, and we'll make our way back down. That next day is actually one of my favorite days. This is where we travel to Montezuma Castle, a national monument. This actually has the cliff dwellings from the Sinagua Indians from the 12th and 13th century. It's mind-blowing to think how long ago they lived here, and you'll learn how they lived. There were over 50 people that lived in this and how intact they are. I think we were even allowed to go up in them up until about the 70s, and I think we were destroying them, so they don't let us do that anymore. But you'll have a park ranger kind of give you the history and explore, and it's a really kind of unique area to check out. And then we go on to Jerome, and Jerome is one of the it used to be the second largest town in Arizona during the gold rush. And think of the Wild West, if any of you are Western lovers and so forth, very much that, a lot of lawlessness. Now they say it's a haunted little town. You'll see the remnants of the mining and so forth, but it's also filled with shops and museums and wonderful galleries. So we'll have some time there. As we travel to Clarksdale, here we're going to board the Verde Canyon Railroad, which is also known as the Wilderness Train. And to me, this was just outstanding. A beautiful train ride. All our travelers get upgraded to like first class seating, I guess you would call it. There's little love seats and chairs and refreshments. There's outdoor viewing carts. But the only way to go through this canyon is by rail, and it will not disappoint. Just spectacular views. You can sit out and enjoy the views from the open air cars as you travel through forest. You'll see Indian ruins and just outstanding beauty. The next day then is kind of a day for you to customize your tour. We will have a full day option to see some more ruins, and it includes lunch and that, or maybe you want to have a day to yourself to do your own options, maybe golf, enjoy the resort, or just enjoy Sedona. But we'll all gather again as we celebrate our final meal and say goodbye to Sedona in Arizona. We're here, we'll head off to the Blazing Inn Ranch. If any of you remember Hee Haw, if you watched that back in the day, this is what this reminded me of. Just lots of great music, country music, Patsy Cline, a lot of humor, food and fellowship. all the things we haven't been allowed to do, you'll get to enjoy. We will also visit Old Town Scottsdale, and this is just very much known as for its western storefronts, and it kind of recreate an era of old time days. It's also kind of an upscale area of Phoenix, so we'll explore that either on your way in or out, but a lot of fun and beautiful to see, a beautiful area of Phoenix as we'll make our way home from Phoenix to RDU. If you have friends or family that wish to join you, they certainly can. Or if we don't have to fly out of RDU, we can arrange air from any other gateway. Here it shows temperatures, again, very comfortable, obviously cooler, desert cooler in the mornings and evenings, and the canyon will be cooler as well. Very, very comfortable weather and a wonderful time to go. Here again is that pricing. And that $200 booking discount is when you make that final payment by check. You can save that. And we'll go talk more about registering and things at the end here. The next tour I'm very excited to talk about is our Utah's Mighty National Parks, featuring the Mighty Five, as they say, Zion, Bryce, Capitol Reef, Canyonlands, and Arches. And really, national parks, as I mentioned, just they're beautiful. There's really no words that can evoke description of them other than extreme, enormous, breathtaking, and just sheerly awesome. Here again, not a lot of movement on this hotel. We're lucky enough that first night we'll fly into Grand Junction, where we'll stay at a DoubleTree. You'll get yourself a little chocolate chip cookie. And then we hub and spoke right from Moab, from the Hyatt Place. And I'll have some shots of those. Here's the DoubleTree at Grand Junction. Very spacious room, lots of outdoor pools and so forth, lounges. And of course, they give you their signature chocolate chip cookie. It's about 5 minutes from the airport and 4 miles from the downtown area. So that next day then, here we're going to begin touring, and again, just a beautiful day. Colorado National Monument offers all kinds of amazing hiking and biking trails and just amazing views of the Red Rock canyons and stone monoliths that just jut out from the ground. So all kinds of buttes and mesas and interesting red rock to see. The Colorado National famous Rimrock Drive. This is one of the most scenic drives in the American West. It's a 23-mile drive that offers just amazing blue skies, red rock canyons as you go along the Colorado National Monument. Scenic Byway 128. This is a scenic road that travels along the upper Colorado River and just west of Grand Junction, kind of to the north area of Moab, and it's just breathtaking. So here we'll arrive. This is where we'll check in to our hotel for the next few nights. This is the Hyatt Place, Moab. If you haven't stayed at a Hyatt Place, they really are fantastic properties. I enjoy them a lot when I'm on the road. They kind of have a nice little sitting area as well as your bedroom area, so for you to relax. And it's about 1 mile down from downtown Moab, and it's just a perfect hotel for this hub and spoke. Here we're going to enjoy a few hours on the Colorado River with its red canyon walls from river level, which is just breathtaking to see from the canyon heights while you'll be visiting the park. So we'll enjoy that boat cruise. And then the next day we'll be at Canyonlands National Park. This is Grand Viewpoint. Canyonlands is your kind of like, to me, your little chance to see Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, and Arches all tied in one beautiful national park. From just the beautiful deep red of the canyon walls and the green of the Colorado River below, and then the hoodoos and the needles and arches landscapes are awesome. And this is only about 30 miles from your hotel. And again, just such amazing views. Fama Mesa Arch. This is renowned. This arch is very famous, and it's referred to as one of the most weird, wonderful, magical places on earth. Dead Horse State Park. Many Westerns were filmed here. If you've watched Thelma and Louise, I think this is where they did that famous, they jumped their car off the bridge and so forth. Monument Valley, again, breathtaking. This would be our long day as we drive from Moab to Monument Valley. It's truly in the middle of nowhere and difficult for most places to get to, but well worth it. And again, this was known as Navajo land. And again, if you're a Western movie lover, this was the home of the John Ford and John Wayne movies. Some of the largest collections of buttes and mesas. We'll go through and see different vantage points. Famous Mittens on the left and the Merrick Butte on the right. This is John Ford Point. This is a spot where stagecoaches would be traveling on the dirt roads below and a cowboy or Indian on the lookout above. They used to be able, you could pay $5 and you used to be able to sit on a horse and have the same picture taken. The Three Sisters is just one of the many famous rock formations. They're just breathtaking to see. And again, these are beautiful photos, but to be in such vastness is crazy. The next day is a day to just enjoy as you own. There's you're less from a mile than from downtown Moab. Lots of shops, restaurants, bars, cafe. You might want to stay and just enjoy the resort, swim and the jacuzzi, or explore Moab's adventure. Here's the downtown area. We will have some options that you may wish to choose. There will be a Hummer tour. Again, a little more of an off-road adventure through the canyons. And also a sound and light cruise in the evening with a cowboy-style dinner. After a dinner, you'll enjoy a cruise on the Colorado River with the guide pointing out all kinds of interesting items. Once it gets dark, the canyon walls light up with over 40,000 watts of light and a narrated show of lights and shadows with music as you float down back the river. Really sounds wonderful. Less than 5 miles from our hotel is Arches National Parks, and this provides a red rock wonderland. The park has over 2,000 natural stone arches, including Delicate Arch. And this arch is over 52 feet tall. It's freestanding and requires a 3-mile hike to see it. Very famous, very photographed. Balanced rock. Again, these rocks with erosion and unique formations are changing daily or yearly and so forth. And so they're always adjusting to the weather. Landscape arch at nearly 300 feet. This is the longest of the 2,000 rock arches in the park and is the 5th largest in the world. One is in Zion and the other 3 are in China. And this hike is about 1.5 in total on a relatively flat surface. So after a little hiking and enjoying some red rocks, here again, we're gonna enjoy a little winery located about 15 miles from Moab up on the river. The Castle Creek Winery has been making wine since 1970s. Decent growing conditions with the dry land, cool nights, produces Pinot Noir, Merlot, Cabernet, and Chardonnay. And they've have won many awards for their wines. Here we'll get to enjoy a little tasting. Little cowboy cookout at the Red Cliffs Lodge. This is a 4-diamond award-winning hotel and restaurant. It sits right at the river and offers amazing views of the buttes and mesas and the sandstone rock. Here, we're gonna have a fantastic farewell dinner as we overlook Moab and this just amazing region of the national parks. And again, everything that's included is your airfare from Raleigh. Again, temperatures here, warm but comfortable, very little rain, less than 1 inch per month. Dates are October 17th through the 23rd. And again, there's that $200 booking discount with final payment by check. You can go to the website and see, and we'll talk more about signing up and registration, but all of that is on the NC State Alumni Travel website. So our last final tour I'm going to highlight You know, we covered some Western tours and so forth, but now we're going to see another gem, and that is our New England Rails and Trails. Nothing is better in the fall than New England, and here you're going to have a great opportunity to see a lot of wonderful areas. We're going to stay in Boston that first night, and then we're 2 nights in North Conway, 2 nights in Burlington, Vermont, breathtaking, and then 2 nights in Maine. So here we're going to welcome you to Boston. Again, a great city, one of the nation's oldest cities and most walkable ones, founded by the Puritans in 1630. Every street corner is a reminder of Boston's role in the American Revolution. And so you're going to get a little tour of Boston, see some of the highlights. This is the world's oldest commissioned naval vessel afloat. It was named by George Washington. Faneuil Hall and Quincy Marketplace. This is a wonderful area of all, it's a renovated complex, lots of like a farm stand and restaurants and gifts and so forth. So we'll enjoy that as we make our way. We'll leave later that day, Boston, as we head through the scenic White Mountains, very beautiful drive as we are headed into North Conway. Again, a couple of cog rail or rail experiences as well on this tour. This is the Mount Washington Cog Railway. And again, just beautiful and wonderful. It began, I believe, in 1852. It's a 3-hour rail experience, and it's the world's very first cog railway. So very scenic, very beautiful as we make our way. There's a gorgeous ride throughout the Washington Valley and just breathtaking fall color. Beautiful photography. The Kankamankis Highway, try to say that fast. This is a 34-mile, very scenic drive along New Hampshire's Route 112. It's well known as one of the best fall foliage views in the country, and it is now designated one of the American scenic byways just for its history, aesthetic beauty, and culture. Here, see the beautiful covered bridges. Keechee Gorge, this is known as Vermont's Little Grand Canyon. Just with beautiful vistas and views. Later we'll arrive in Woodstock, and again, very historic town. We're going to tour the Billings Farm Museum. This is a modern work and dairy farm and museum, and kind of depicts what life was like in Vermont in the late 1890s. Here, see all the pumpkins and apple picking. The Shelburne Museum is one of art design, and it's located in Vermont. There's over 150,000 works in 38 exhibition buildings, 25 which are historic and which were relocated to the museum grounds. This is one of the largest apple cider mills in New England, and it's known for its cold pressed cider. Definitely have to get some of that. And the charming town of Stowe, Vermont. Again, just these beautiful little towns nestled in spectacular fall color. If any of you are ice cream lovers, and if you're Ben and Jerry's, Chunky Monkey, Fish Food, Chocolate Chip Cookie Go, Cherry Garcia, all the crazy names. These are just a few to name a few. Founded in 1978, it was actually founded in a renovated gas station. So here you're going to get to enjoy a tour and obviously opportunity to taste a wonderful scoop of ice cream. New England is also maple syrup. Again, these I always like make great souvenir. And here you're going to learn all about the sugaring process while you enjoy the New England scenery and have a chance to sample and purchase some syrup as we head down the coast later that day, as we head into Portland, just enjoying the breathtaking New England views, where we'll arrive in Burlington, Vermont for the next 2 nights. Portland, Maine is the largest city in Maine, and again, a great little town on the water. Here you're going to do the Casco Bay cruise, and again, a wonderful cruise along the shoreline, just seeing the views from the water. and we'll head to the Portland Museum and Lighthouse. This is one of America's most photographed lighthouses. And again, you know, I think a couple words to describe this tour is lighthouses, landscapes, and lobster, kind of the 3 L's. If you're a seafood lover, a lot to be had here. You're going to enjoy lobster as well. But again, just beautiful drive. As we make our way, we'll have a lobster dinner for our farewell dinner as we make our way back to Boston to fly home. Again, just here's the 3 kind of incentives that we're offering for anyone who signs up in the next few days. For questions, again, you can contact Kathy. Or go to the webpage and get that information. On our flyer, we do have our online booking reservation, and you can simply sign up online as well, or you can simply mail in by check or mail your reservation to the Alumni Association. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I'm going to try to get out of this and get with you to see if we have any questions. But we're very excited to be traveling again and looking forward to having you on one of our tours. So I want to thank you all.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
I see we have some questions. So, Lois asked, how long are the 2 train rides? And I think she's probably talking about the Grand Canyon trip.
To get to the top of the canyon on that, or I'm sorry, Perkinsville, the nature one, to go through is, I would say, I think it's about 3.5 hours. The wilderness train, and then the one to the top of the Grand Canyon, you ride the motor coach up to Williams, and then from there you board the train. That's probably maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours.
That's what I remember too.
Yeah, probably 1.5 hours, I would say.
Are there other questions? You can also unmute yourself and certainly ask questions.
I asked if there's a possibility of when in either of the 2 canyon tours, the first or the second, to actually see the canyons at the maximum lighting, you know, either sunrise or sunset, you know, when the light is just really beautiful on those red rocks. Are any of the tours set up so that you can see them in the late evening or late afternoon?
Well, for the Utah's Mighty National Parks, when you do that evening boat cruise, you would be seeing it then. And then you're not in the canyon, but Sedona itself, I always encourage, you know, there's red rocks all around you. I always encourage people to go outside. They always have the big outdoor fire pits and things like that, and just enjoy the sunset, the desert sunsets and so forth. But there's no specific touring where you're getting up at sunrise to view anything. But you know, and then when you're in Moab, you're in Moab. You know, so you'll see some beautiful sunrises and sunsets.
And Lois, I take a lot of photos. So when we were in the Grand Canyon, we did stop we took the train to the Grand Canyon, but we took the bus back, and we did stop at other locations as we went down from the canyon. So we did, it wasn't sunset.
There were some photo ops, you know, opportunities.
Oh, definitely. Plenty of photo ops, plenty of
and
photo
it was late afternoon and the colors were intensifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Good questions.
Those are good questions. Anyone else have anything? Well, feel free, if you've got questions, to give me a call. I can take your reservation over the phone, or you can do as Amanda suggested. I'm happy to talk to you further or answer any further questions. And I want to thank all of you for attending. And I will say, traveling with the pack is a great experience. We have a good time when we travel together. A lot of folks have made lifelong friends that they've traveled with again. I've got a group who are getting ready to go to Egypt, and after they had gone to the Galapagos together several years ago. So we do make, you know, lots of folks make friends that they travel with again and stay in touch with, and indeed we become a pack.
I do have a question, Kathy, about international travel. Now
Sure.
that we're in a pandemic, and require COVID testing before we can re-enter the United States. Are you having any perspective on how easy or hard that is to do with, I mean, I don't know. I assume you are all setting up international travel.
Our first international trip doesn't go out until September, and things quite honestly are changing so quickly right now.
Yeah, can't tell.
And so I'm not sure what we'll be doing. I've seen more than several articles about a COVID passport type thing. They're discussing that. We'll see how that goes. I think certain countries will be easier than others. And you know, Amanda, Premier offers world travel too. So have you got any perspective on that we can offer, Lois?
Kind of just along your line, what we're saying. Like right now, I know, and I think this will be the trend. Like Iceland right now is opening up. It's one of the first European countries or countries to open up, and to Americans and to tourism, and they are requiring proof of the vaccine. So I do imagine that will be probably something that you'll see for international. But, you know, as Kathy mentioned, everything is changing daily and quickly. And so it's kind of a wait and see as this approach. But actually, you did remind me of something, which I'm grateful because I forgot to put that slide in. For all these tours, is it October 1st, I want to say, to travel in the United States. If you don't use a passport, you will need that real ID. So if you have not gotten that, might as well go. And actually working with the DMV right now is kind of nice because you make appointments. So you don't have to sit there forever. You just make your appointment and you can get in there. And it'd be good if you don't plan on using your passport, you will need the real ID to travel domestically on an airplane. Your license won't work after October. So,
and I would say too, if you're going to do the real ID, you need to be sure that you go and see what's required to take with you, because there is some very specific things that they will accept and some things they won't. So I would be sure you go and read that carefully.
Yes.
I've had several people tell me that they made several trips before they got it right.
Wow.
Are there any other questions?
How often do you offer this type of a trip? That's probably Kathy's question in terms of how often do you offer the Grand Canyon trip? I know you've done it in the past. You know, I'm seeing it again. Is it every 3 or 4 years? Is it?
Well, I sort of gauged offering trips based on how popular they were the last time we offered them. And so sometimes we'll offer them consecutive years, and sometimes we'll do it for a couple of years and then skip a year and go and then pick it back up again. You know, some destinations like that are exotic, we only do like every 2 or 3 years. It just depends on that kind of thing. But I try to mix it up, and then you know, we always are price conscious and quality conscious, and we look at the feedback. I look at the feedback from our travelers when they travel, and that helps me make all those decisions.
And I do want to say the prices that we quoted for these tour all were including air. I know sometimes it's just land only, but those prices all were with air based out of Raleigh.
Nice to know. Yeah.
Yeah, and she'll be happy to, and if you're somewhere else other than Raleigh, they'll be happy to give you a price. Like I actually had somebody book this morning on Premier's Rose Parade trip for after Christmas this year, and so they were leaving from Atlanta, so they gave me a price quote for leaving from Atlanta. So that's not a problem at all.
Okay, good. And is there a way that I can send this video to friends?
Yeah, I'm going to send you a copy of this presentation today, and then you can share it with friends.
Yeah, because I have my travel buddies, and yeah, this is one that we're interested
And
in.
again, Amanda said it once, but I'm going to say it again. We welcome family and friends. We can all be a pack together.
Oh, amen. And Roy Williams is retiring.
Boy, that is big news today, isn't it?
Yeah.
All over the news.
So, all right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Easter holiday.
Yes.
And hope to see you traveling soon.
Yes. And again, call me if you have questions. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
was pretty good. It was
Yeah.
short.